But the most worrisome thing is their dream.
The dream of the religious extremists is to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, destroyed 2,000 years ago. Where it once stood, there are now two mosques, the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa, the third holiest site in Islam. Every month, radical Jewish groups try to enter the Temple Mount to worship. The greatest fear of the security forces is that someone will try to blow up the mosque.
The dream of these extremists should give us sleepless nights. Jewish terror is liable to create a serious strategic threat that will turn the Israeli-Palestinian conflict into a conflict between 13 million Jews and 1 billion Muslims all over the world.
There are many among these ideologically motivated groups who would like to see the collapse of the mosques on the Temple Mount become the catalyst for this process. And there is more. There are those who talk about it, and there are those who are working toward it on the operative level in order to bring about a process of so-called redemption.
The security service tried to infiltrate the religious extremists and to enlist agents from among them, but they proved hard to crack. Years of arrests and interrogations had toughened them. Up against the strongest organization in Israel, Shabak, they had learned always to be suspicious.
We live in a harsh reality. Firstly, because of technology. This cell phone is a bugging device. Then everything is controlled. Third, it's the government who is in control. Every time a photographer takes my picture, I wonder when a copy will find its way to the security service.
A year after the arrest of the Bahrain terrorists, the security service was still working the case. Then, the Criminal Identification Unit put a name to some fingerprints on the trailer bomb that had been planted near the girls' school. They belonged to Tziriel Amior. He was arrested and brought in for interrogation. But like Yossi Ben Baruch, Amior denied the charges and remained silent. 4 months later, Shabak had a break. Acting on a tip, they picked up 2 men and found 8 Army explosive charges in their car. They believed that one of them, Yitzhak Paz, was intending to use them against Palestinians. But this arrest was big news and triggered demonstrations of sympathy. Yitzhak Paz is famous across Israel for events that occurred in Hebron a year earlier.
We lived in the Beit Hadassah in Hebron. Me, my wife, and Shalabit, who was 10 months old. That day, unfortunately, changed my life completely. We decided to visit my wife's parents, who live in the Avraham Avinu neighborhood.
Paz and his family came under fire from a Palestinian sniper.
I felt a blast near my feet, and when I looked down, I saw that a bullet had hit me. Blood was spurting out, and I realized I had been shot. At that point, I was sure that only I had been wounded. Meanwhile, my wife took Shalhavet from the stroller and took her behind a wall. Suddenly, she felt that her hand was wet with blood, and then she turned Shalhavet over, and she saw the entrance wound and the exit wound, and realized that I was the minor victim of the incident. They tried to keep her alive, but God decided what he decided. I believe that she was a great soul who came to this world to go through this. That was her purpose in life. To further the process we're going through, the process of the Jewish people returning to its land and struggling for it. And in the end, God willing, the Messiah will come and the temple will be rebuilt. It's all part of a process that will lead to the goal. That was the judgment. That was God's wish. We try to accept it with love, with all of the difficulty and sadness.
Hundreds of settlers gathered at his daughter's funeral. Yitzhak Paz recited the Kaddish, the traditional mourner's prayer. On the walls of Hebron, graffiti called to avenge the blood of Shalhevet. Yitzhak Paz would be convicted for possession of explosives. Then Shabak made another breakthrough in the Bat Ain investigation. This rare footage shows the interrogation of Shahar Devir, brother of one of the Bat Ain terrorists. He gave up detailed information about the Jewish underground and eventually led his interrogators to a hidden cave on a hill near his settlement. There, they found a large cache of explosives and arms stolen from the Israeli army. Ballistic tests revealed that these weapons were used in a number of unsolved murders of Palestinians. Following Devir's interrogation, Shabak brought in 9 new suspects for questioning. What had begun as a chance arrest one night in East Jerusalem had become the biggest breakthrough in the security service's battle against Jewish terrorism.